Well, as everybody knows, we spent the whole 2012 season changing from that Chevrolet to the nitro Hemi. And what a big learning curve that was. Bigger changeover than we had hoped. And we finally get to Bonneville Speed Week 2013 and decided to make a little 3-mile run just down to the 3-mile, check it out, see what we had. And it's amazing what we learned in 3 miles. I had probably overcompensated on the suspension for the added weight. And track was pretty loose. Mike couldn't get a hold of anything, so he ran her down to the 3-mile at 30% throttle. Shut it off. Went almost 300 at the 3-mile and go over to the pits. Lo and behold, we had burned some pistons. What we found out was the barrel valve wasn't what we thought it was. And at 30% throttle, it was dead lean. So we burnt some pistons. Didn't really kill anything. At any rate, we didn't have enough spare parts. So that was Speed Week. But the bottom line is we learned, well, we couldn't learn on the dyno because you don't run 30% throttle on the dyno. You just boom and you're gone. So that was a good learning curve experience. We got the barrel valve fixed and was waiting for Mike Cook's shootout, and the rains came. So we sat here in the garage all of August, all of September, and even October. We thought, well, we'll go run World Finals. Hell, everything was rained out, so made one little 3-mile run in 2013, and thank goodness we got that in because we learned a lot. So now we're waiting for 2014. Pretty soon we got to get this job done. The date on my driver's license tells me it's time to shit or get off the pot. At any rate, we're looking forward to this year. USFRA is going to run a little test and tune in July, 3-day event, not open to the public, teams and crews, just a little 3-mile course, 1 clock. Bring all your own fuel, your own parts, because there's not going to be any suppliers there. It's just exactly what it says, test and tune. But we're looking forward to that. We need to get 2 or 3 good solid runs in, give us some good input. Put a lot of time and thought into the car this year. As you know, we took it to the wind tunnel a year ago, and the car was really good in the wind tunnel. All the numbers were good except one, and the car was building a fair amount of lift in the front end, which we knew it was. We just didn't know exactly how much, and when when I seen the numbers, it kind of bothered me. So we've redesigned the nose piece on the car, and it gives the car a whole different look from the front and the side, but definitely it'll get rid of that lift in the front end, and in doing so, it'll take some of the coefficient of drag out of the car too. If we're not creating that amount of lift, the drag should go down. So I think that's going to be a good positive change. We can also take about 100 pounds of lead out of the nose that we've been stacking in there because it was steering just a little bit light, according to Mike. And So we're looking forward to that. Really looking forward to seeing this car run hard at Speed Week. I think we can. Charles Nurburg's number is 414. I think that's doable at Speed Week. And I have a real conflict in my mind right now about FIA, world records. It's not a conflict. It's last year I raised a lot of questions with Mike Cook, FIA, ACUS, USAC. And I have some real feelings about what's gone on the last few years with world records, FIA. I think they do a terrific job with Formula One racing. I love watching that, and I can appreciate the billions of dollars that go into that sport. Unfortunately, the residue and the carryover from FIA into land speed racing is, I think, pretty dramatic. 25, 30,000 bucks to go chase a piece of paper, a world record. Wow. Years ago, I never gave it any thought. We went to every FIA sanctioned event, but back then, it was just a different ball game, different time. For 2,000 bucks, you could do the whole thing. Now it's 25,000 minimum. And I think world records are neat. Whether they're that neat, I don't know. Last year I made a real effort to look at resurrecting Land Speed Authority. Could never get any response from the fellow who owns Land Speed Authority. Unfortunately, he was in the hospital at the time, and I just think there's an alternative to quote, quote, world records. I mean, what is a world record? That's what FIA says it is. Land Speed Authority says something else, or if somebody beat that record at, say, World of Speed, World Finals, Speed Week, I guess the fastest car is the fastest car. Under whose jurisdiction does it really matter? I don't know. I'm pretty conflicted over that whole thing. I think Mike Cook does a terrific job on his end of that deal. And he's kind of between a rock and a hard spot. That's his event. Mike does a terrific job. He's a good guy to run that. I don't know what we're going to do come September. I'm not saying we will, I'm not saying we won't. My mind's going to have to be a lot more settled than it is now. I had a lot of communications with ACUS, FIA, USAC last year, and bottom line is, it is what it is. You want to run, bring your car. And I'm sure their fees are all justified in their mind. They're not in mine, but they are in their mind. They provide a service. The guy's just got to decide whether he wants that service or not. Land speed racing has never been a corporate event. A bunch of guys building hot rods. But like everything else, time changes everything. And I'm not saying they're wrong or I'm right. It's just a matter of I'm really conflicted about this whole process, and I'm not telling them to kiss my big red rosy butt, but because we might well be there. I wouldn't say we won't, I won't say we will, but I'm not happy with the process. All I know is right now we're interested in getting this car out to USFRA's test and tune and go from there. Anxious to get to Speed Week. And so we got a lot to look forward to this year, and we're anxious to get it going.